Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Chicago Bears Talk Live, our first Tuesday night live stream of the offseason. We're going to be doing this a lot more often, so thank you everyone for tuning in. If you please, before we bring in Bears defensive back Josh Blackwell, please like and subscribe to the channel. It helps grow our audience and get more people going. We also have the live stream open tonight, so we will have, the comment section open tonight, so you can ask Josh and I any question. We're going to be going for about an hour, guys. So we're going to be hitting on a little bit on the Super Bowl. We're going to be hitting on this past season specifically and a lot more. But with further ado, I'm going to welcome back my good friend, Josh Blackwell. Josh, welcome to the show, man.
Appreciate you having me.
Absolutely, man. Is it crazy that we're back? Football is still happening, like the Super Bowl's coming up, but how are you feeling now that this is the biggest game of the year? Like, what are you expecting for this upcoming Super Bowl?
I'm expecting a good game. I'm kind of disappointed. Obviously I wanted to be there, right? Like I wanted the Bears to be there, but watching the playoffs, there's some people that you'd rather see win than others, right? But I'm excited for a good game. I got a college teammate with the Chiefs, so I guess I'm not gonna be cheering for anybody, but I wanted to see him do well. But yeah, I'm doing well. Resting the body, getting back into it, but yeah, excited to get back to it.
So who's your teammate? They're on the Chiefs, you said? Who's your teammate?
Yeah, Noah Gray, the backup tight end, 83. I went to college with him, and he's good people. I'd love to see him do well. So yeah, I'll be rooting for him only.
So Josh, one of the questions I see a lot of people asking a similar question right now. We're gonna get into the Bears in a little bit, guys, but Josh, just asking ahead of this game, you guys played the Chiefs earlier this year.
Yeah.
Like, what makes them so? I mean, Patrick Mahomes is the obvious one, but what makes them so difficult to play against?
I guess like their diversity in calls, right? Like they have a lot of pieces, a lot of tools they can use, and obviously Patrick Mahomes is the guy that he is. I mean, he's a Pro Bowl quarterback. He has a lot of weapons, and he has the ability to make plays that aren't even really there, right? They use their weapons right, and I think it's shown over the last 5 seasons how like even with the turning of new players that they're still able to execute on offense, I guess you could say. So yeah, their defense has been solid the last couple of years as well. So I mean, you watch that and you're just like, they're just a solid team.
Well, one question for you, Josh, real quick before we get in a little bit into more about your score prediction. How does Gray like learning from Kelsey? Have you talked to him about that? Obviously one of the best tight ends in the league. Like, how does he like working with him?
I think it's funny, like when Noah got drafted and that was 2021, me and the Duke guys were always like, he's like a very similar player to Kelsey. And I guess I haven't really directly talked to him about how he likes playing under Kelsey, but I mean, I would assume it's probably great. Like they're similar personalities, both obviously really talented, right? Like, and I mean, as a Hall of Famer in your room, you can't really complain with that, right? So I think he's in great hands in that room, right? And I think he'll be the future tight end for them after Kelsey. I really do.
That's pretty exciting. I mean, one, to work behind him too. I'm sure he's gotten a chance to at least meet Taylor Swift, like everyone's kind of wondering.
Probably, yeah, probably.
But Josh, before we get into more about the Bears, we got the draft coming up here. We got a couple other things going on. We got a ton of questions already flying in. So thank you everyone for tuning in. Make sure you keep those questions coming. We'll make sure we throw them up as they go. Who do you think's winning the Super Bowl, Josh?
I'm kind of with like the majority. I feel like it would be like better just to see a tie. I'd rather neither one of them win. I didn't want either of the teams to be in it anyway. Like I feel like the Chiefs always are in it. They always win. And that's just like whatever, right? Like, and then San Francisco's in our conference, so it's like we're supposed to be there. So it's like, do you really want to see either one of them win? Not really. But I mean, if I had to choose, I'll just say tie. How about that? I'll just say a tie.
The first tie in Super Bowl history.
Yeah, right. Like first whenever. I mean, I don't really have a preference, to be honest with you. Just kind of like I'll just watch the game like every other fan does and just watch it. Fan of the game. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Well, we all know you guys are going to be in it next year. We've already talked about that. And we're gonna talk about it a little bit more as time goes on. But Josh, like pretty hot question right now in the Chicago Bears fan base right now. And a lot of people want to know, we got from D Money right now, Bears have the number 1 pick. What are you doing with it if you're Ryan Poles? I mean, like, you can give a whatever answer you want, but that's about 6 questions so far.
Yeah. I'm going to be biased here. I am a Justin Fields fanatic. I'll say that off rip. Like, I think Justin is the franchise quarterback for the Chicago Bears. I don't think, me personally, this is me. I think he fits with the offense well. Like, DJ Moore, all the players have already advocated for him. Like, the guy's a stud. We can't deny that, right? Like, I can't be a GM because I that's a difficult job to have, right? Like, there's really no right answer. But if it were up to me, I'm keeping Justin, and I'm working with that number 1 pick like we did last season. Like, that's just me though. I'm biased in that. I feel like Justin is the guy for our team, and the guys believe in him. Well, we all believe in him. So yeah, that would be my answer.
Well, that's the answer that we're getting a lot from players. Robbie Gould came out today at the Super Bowl and said, they should absolutely keep Justin. They should trade back, get a haul. And, you saw that progression, especially in the second half of the season when he came back from his injury. It's a very, very tough thing to go down right now. And I know, like, he's a great locker room guy. He takes mistakes and calls them out himself. So when you were in the locker room, so the question is, just so everyone's joining, we got a lot of people joining right now. So of the main question was, so your answer is sticking with Justin, but after what game was it? It was an away game. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but Justin came in and said, the Minnesota game when he had that costly turnover in the end, but you guys were able to hold off Minnesota 12-10. He came in and after Flus spoke, he said, "That's on me, guys. Thanks for having my back." What kind of is Justin done that a lot? Because that was the only time on camera we ever saw that. Like, what is Justin like in the locker room after that type of situation?
Anything, like, he will be the first guy to step up, even if it's not his direct fault. Like, he will be the first one to be like, "Hey, like, I need to be better," when it's really the defense's fault, or it's really so-and-so. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he'll be the first one to take the bullet for the guys, because that's just the kind of guy that he is, right? Like, he is a competitor, but he's also a leader, and he's humble in everything that he does. So it's like, if we fail, he fails. If he fails, we fail. Like, that's kind of the guy that he is. So, like, he's a leader, and I respect the hell out of that guy just because of who he is, really. Like, he would never point the finger at anybody else. He would take the blame wholeheartedly every time. And what you guys see after that game, like, that's really who he is, like, behind closed doors too. Like, he's really just that's the kind of guy he is. So yeah.
So you're trading that number 1 pick. You're sticking with Justin Fields to answer the first question for everybody. And Justin's a guy in the locker room. Like, I know we talked about it. So you and I talked before the season. We talked a little bit during the season, and then now it's after the season. What changed as time went on with Justin working specifically with the defense? Like, how did he make you guys better behind the scenes?
Yeah. I mean, even in OTAs, right? Like, starting to work together as offensive defense, whole defense players and stuff. Like, I guess just like him being able to, work off of Tremaine and TJ, and then you got Eddie, and like the vets in the back that, like, make him better. He then turns around and makes me, Brisk, Kyler, Terrell Smith, Schmitty, Reek, like, all of us better in the back end. Like, I guess it's just like a trickle down effect. Like, the vets make him better, he makes the younger guys better, and it's kind of like that's how I feel like we got better, right? Like, just the complete, like, the competitiveness of both sides, and just really ironing, sharpening our iron. Like, we just made each other better. And then, like, even in the locker room, like, he was always kind of joking around with guys, like, making it fun, making it an environment where guys could be comfortable and just be themselves. And, like, that's what makes everybody, like, better in our reality. If they can be themselves, they're at their best. So yeah, like, he's a solid dude.
And that's something, like you said, we don't get to see. I mean, like, he runs around the field, he high fives fans. Like, he owns being the Bears quarterback. And it sounds like he makes you guys better at practice, which is great. And One thing I want to ask you before we go into our next question is if with Justin, how he plays, what makes him so difficult to cover? Like, is it because of his athletic ability? What makes him so dangerous as a quarterback that people might not think about?
His size. Like me, I didn't know Justin was as big as he was when I got here 2 years or last year. Like I didn't know he was as big as he was. I'm not that big of a guy anyway, but like I didn't anticipate him being as big as he was, as being as fast as he was. Like he's a specimen. Um, if you haven't seen him in person, like he really is bigger than you would think. He's fast. He can sling it. Like he's really a specimen, and I like that's really the way to put it. Like he's just athletically gifted.
One question that drives fans crazy, and everyone, we got 100 people in here right now, so thanks everyone for tuning in so far. We're just getting started. There was a lot of controversy over the season about Justin and when he ran, and sometimes at the end of plays, if you know what I'm talking about,
Okay.
and kind of some of the hits that he got.
Mm-hmm.
What was the sidelines reaction to that? Because we always saw Rashawn Johnson going crazy, like throwing his hands up. Like being there on the field and seeing that happen as his teammate, like what was it truly like to see that up close? Like, were they good? Were they bad? How did you feel about every situation?
I think with us, we watch Justin, we feel like he can make any play. So it's like we're kind of watching like just to see what happens really. Like if he is gonna tuck it and take off, is he gonna throw it into a tight window? Like we just like to see what he does. And like most of the time we're always like waiting for him to just like make something happen because he's a magician, right? Like the play that he made against Atlanta, the play that he made last year against Philly, like the things that he does is like incredible, right? Like so it's never really like he should have got rid of it, or it's he shouldn't have taken that hit. It's more of like let's see what he does with the ball, right? Like because at the end of the day, like he does the impossible all the time. He'll make something just shake out of nothing. So we kind of watch it in all, just like the rest of you guys. Really, like we're on the sideline, like did y'all see what he just did, kind of a thing. Like that was crazy. So I don't think it's anybody being negative about it. I think it's kind of just kind of waiting to see what he's going to make happen with the ball.
Totally. And
Yeah.
it is magical to watch on TV. Like it's special, man. And you guys have to work against him, which I'm sure makes you guys better, kind of like we talked about. But kind of switching gears, let's go to the defensive side of the ball. I mean, this has been a big question that I've seen so far, but this was the first one about it. How much would it mean to the squad if Jalen Johnson comes back as the leader, especially after this year? Like, what does Jalen do to this team that makes him so special?
Jalen is the voice of our room. I'll say that. Like he is the spokesperson for the DB room. Him and Eddie, obviously, but like Jalen will say whatever, whenever, however, just to like because he really like he's just the leader for our room. Yeah, we need 3-3 back. He's obviously arguably the best. He is the best corner in the league right now. Like that's a fact. So we need that for like the leadership of the room, and even this like polls. I heard polls say like him taking Reek under his arm, like that's what made Reek so special this year, right? Like him being him allowed Tyreek to kind of blossom into what he became, and he should have been Rookie of the Year. But
hands down, agreed.
We'll talk about that later. But I think just like his aura and his presence just like lifts guys up. He's always positive. Always is the guy breaking us down. Always is the guy leading us in prayer. Like this, that's just the guy he is. He's a stand up dude and is a baller at the end of the day. So we need a guy like that in our room to kind of keep progressing and keep the next whoever comes in next to keep elevating. So yeah.
What makes so we know on paper Jalen Johnson, he had a career year, Pro Bowl year. I mean, he even had to play the game at the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, that was lit.
I mean, I listen, I missed when the Pro Bowl was like Sean Taylor taking out people, but like
yeah.
won, and he made it intense. What about Johnson this year compared to last year made him so, because he progressed like crazy, but what in your eyes as his teammate did you see the biggest difference?
Like he's always been the vocal leader. Like I said, always. Like my first 2 years, he's been the same. Like he didn't waver at all. He's always been the same player. He prepared the same way. I think it was just like a hunger. I think he was trying to like kind of shut up everybody that was saying like he wasn't the corner that he was, but he really was the whole time. I think it was just like, let me prove it to you. Like I really am the guy that I say I am. And I think he just put his head down and was like, watch what I do. I really don't think he really changed anything else. He prepared the same way, watched the film the same way, asked the same questions the same way. So I really think it was just like, let me just doubt everybody that has anything negative to say about me.
See, like that's awesome. And it takes more than just playing style to become a better player, it sounds like. Is that the message you're kind of giving? Like it's
Yeah,
mentality
it's a
too.
mentality thing for sure, 100%.
So shifting to you real quick before we go into the next subject about Montez Sweat. How do you feel you got better this year?
I'm my biggest critic, right? So like my first year, I had a solid first year, I'll say that. And then to come into this year with injuries and setbacks, and I didn't perform as well as I thought I should have. Um, I take this year as a kind of a lesson learned, right? Like I never had injuries like this before. So like now I gotta, go back to the drawing board and reevaluate how I do things, right? So um, I learned that, things can change at the drop of a dime, right? Like Kyler goes down week 1, like now you got to step up, but now you're not able to go. So it's kind of like we gotta prioritize some things and make some adjustments here and there. But the when I came back, I was able to make a lot of the plays that a lot more plays than I did before, right? Like, and I missed a couple, but it's all a learning thing, right? Like it's always about getting better and taking the next step to be what I think I'm capable of being.
Well, I mean, like it was crazy how hamstring. It was a hamstring injury you had,
It's
right?
hamstring, yeah.
I mean, those are lingering injuries. You and I were texting
Sure.
back and forth. You were trying to come back as soon as possible, but in the right time period.
Right.
And you came back, and I sent you the video of you. You were flying down the field. You were able to do what you had to do. I mean, you looked so much more improved this past year, in my opinion. And I know a lot of fans, especially on Twitter, which where a lot of people, our viewers, are coming from tonight. We were trying to get you to go to the Pro Bowl because we
Yeah,
thought you did a fantastic job this year.
I appreciate that.
So in our eyes, you improved, and everybody keep throwing your comments in the comments section. We have a ton of questions for you, Josh. So I hope you're ready for it because
I'm all
everyone's coming in hot right now. We're going to have some fun tonight, but I thought you did a great job this year, and we're excited. I know you're a restricted free agent coming up here, so hopefully we'll have some news. Good news. After that good news, we'll have you back on, talk about it a little bit more.
Absolutely.
But one person that we want to talk about tonight that really changed this season was bringing in Montez Sweat.
Yeah.
And we traded him for a second-round pick that's with Washington right now. Who knows? We might get it back somehow, depending on the situation with the number 1 pick. When the Bears got Sweat, when you guys found out about it, can you kind of break down the process? So how was your reaction? What was the process of finding out? And what was his immediate impact?
What week did we bring him? I don't even remember what week it was.
I think it was week 8.
Week 8. I remember we signed him. I remember the first thing I saw was the contract, and I was like, "Whoa! Like they paid, bro, right?" Like, and he was in the locker room. Everyone was congratulating him and stuff. And I remember he has like a very loud presence. Like he's a loud dude, right? Big presence. He's a funny guy, always cutting up, and then watch him on the field, you're like, oh, this guy's dominant. Like he's a problem. He really is. So that opens up doors for everybody else, right? Like Justin, Yannick, everybody else on the line is like, it opens up doors for them, right? D-Walk. So his impact was immediate. And it even, Flus with his nicknames gave him the Beast off rip just because, I mean, he's a physical presence, right? So now we love Sweaty, solid dude. And a well-deserved Pro Bowl as well. So, yeah.
So question for you, because he is a very large man. There's no doubt about that.
He's a big dude. Yeah.
When you first met him, what was your initial? Because you never played with him before. It doesn't sound like you guys had any crossings. Like your first crossing was in the locker room at Hallis Hall. Like, what was he truly a leader the second he walked in the door? Like, kind of what was your first interaction with him?
Yeah, I mean, my first interaction with him was congratulating him for his contract. That was my first interaction with him, really. And everybody kind of like gravitated to him. I guess he's just a fun presence, right? Like I had never met him before, but I could tell some of the guys had knew him before from, I guess, previous teams, or college or whatever, training, whatever. So that like he kind of felt comfortable already. And then he's not afraid to talk. Like he'll talk to anybody. So him just kind of saying what's up, how you doing, kind of a thing was kind of, for me, that was kind of good to see. Like, and I'm sure the other guys really appreciated too that didn't know him. But I mean, yeah.
That's awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
hey, that it's better than a guy walking in thinking he owns the place already.
Yeah,
It sounds like
no.
he's a
He
good teammate.
never came in like that. Never came in crazy. He was just like coming in. We got work to do, and let's make it happen, kind of a thing.
So how did his play? Because I mean, you guys took off. You were a top 3 defense the rest of the time that he was on the team. Like takeaways were. I mean, you guys had an average 2 interceptions a game for the rest of the season.
Right.
Also pressure on the quarterback. How did he raise the confidence of the defense?
You know, like I said, like when the defense works together, like it's really something to see, right? Like our defensive back always says, like the rush is what causes the picks, right? And like the coverage is what causes the sacks. Like they work together. So when you have one that's accelerates, right? Like that causes the ball to come out quicker. So that's less time to cover. So like when you're covering for 2 seconds, it's a lot easier than covering for 5 seconds, right? Like, so when you have that rush that opens up D-Walk on the other side and Justin in the middle, now that we can cover for less, and that causes turnovers in the back end, right? So that he was a key piece in our turnaround, truly. That's what I think. Like the picks skyrocketed, the sacks skyrocketed, like it all works together, right? So yeah, it all works together. And when it works together, it's something to see. And I think that's what showed the back half of the season.
I mean, absolutely. The numbers show for it. That's for
Yeah,
sure. And he's a Pro Bowler. So
for sure. Yeah.
I'm excited that he's going to be around because, it does help kind of determine the future of, what the Bears might do with some draft picks, who they might bring in.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of answers, Trey Gunn, I'm sorry, I had a great question for you, Josh. What do you think is the biggest need for this team that'll take them to the next level? And I know you're going to be biased because,
I'm going to be biased, right? Like I really do think the defense is where it needs to be. I really think we have everything that we need to be. I think the offense is in a really good place. I really do. I'm excited to see what the new offensive coordinator has for our offense. I don't know what the key piece is. I don't know. I really don't have an answer for that, but I'll say I am excited to see the coordinator work with the offense. I'll say that.
No, and so that actually answers a great question for you, Josh, is you have a new defensive coordinator.
Right.
Flus obviously was handling the show after week 1 for various different reasons. But Eric Washington comes in. Have you had a chance to talk to him yet? Kind of anything along those lines?
I haven't met him yet. I haven't talked to him yet. I've been in Dallas for the last couple of days, and I guess he may have been there, but I just haven't seen him yet. But I'm excited to get to see what he has to offer for us. I'm excited to get to work with him and see where we can take this thing, as I know we have a lot of potential and have the ability to be the best in the world. So yeah, I'm excited to get started with him.
Awesome. Yeah. I mean, it was a great sign. He worked for the Bears. He was a part of the last Bears winning playoff team. He was our defensive line coach back then.
I didn't know that.
So the more you know. I mean, he knows his way around the old Hallis Hall. He could probably tell you some stories how much nicer it is. But
you talking about the new one or the old one?
Well, he was at the old one, so they've updated it since he was there.
I was gonna say, okay, yeah, the new one is nice. Yeah,
I was about to say. So, real quick question: how truly big is Hallis Hall? Like when you're going through it, like how big is it?
It's a good size. I don't know what.
Well, because you were at the Eagles before, like, is it like night and day difference or pretty similar?
The biggest difference is just like I think the Eagles was renovated in 2004 or 5. Like it's been renovated a long time ago, and this one was renovated in like 2015.
Yeah, really recent.
Yeah, so I mean, like that's just the time difference, and like the technology is like a little bit more, like so. I mean, the size I don't really think is different, but I will like the technology and the newer feel is a little bit different.
Well, it's good to hear that you ended up winning at the end of the day, getting a better facility than what you had before.
For sure.
And obviously being a part of the Bears. So
Absolutely.
that worked out.
Yeah.
So quick, just personal question for you. This is from Reiner. Who was your favorite player growing up?
So I think we talked about this last time. I'm from Atlanta, and I grew up loving Michael Vick.
Yes,
Vick
we
was
did.
The guy. Yeah, he was the guy where I was from. So even to a point where like my cousin got we wanted cornrows like Michael Vick, like we wanted the cleats like Michael Vick, like we wanted to be Michael Vick because he just was everything. Like even in Madden, like we wanted to play with the Falcons. If we could play with the Falcons, that's what we did. So yeah, Michael Vick.
I love that. I mean, we talked about it last time. For everybody, go back and watch the last time Josh and I spoke. It's crazy that it was months ago at this point. But yeah Michael Vick was a bad dude. I mean, I told you this last time. I like that him and Fields have actually worked together at Hallis Hall before the season even started, which was really cool. I thought I like what Flus is doing. And this actually leads into the next question, ironically from Reiner himself. What is your opinion in reason everyone seemed to maintain a high level of effort in the game support in Flus's mission?
Flus from the beginning, since 2022, has never wavered in any capacity. Like he's always been consistent, has always been in our corner, has always taken more or less the blame as he should as a coach. But like even when it really hasn't been his fault, he's always taken the blame. And you know, I think even when he in his past, like his resume shows, right? Like he's a good coach. He's a smart coach. I think for us, it just took us time to gel a little more as a unit. And then when it clicked, we were bought in from the beginning. But once it clicked and we started to gel, I think that's we never doubted Flus. We always felt like Flus had our best interest at heart. Obviously, like every coach wants to win. But I don't ever think he ever pointed the finger. I don't think he ever, badmouthed anybody, or he talked to all of us with respect as grown men, and we all had a common goal. So I think we all bought in and really, was like, we're going to ride this all the way. So yeah, even last year, like when we were 3-14, like nobody ever wavered. It was like, the Flus. It was never that. It was always a positive mindset, and always like a kind of look to the future and build off of what we have.
And I told you, we've talked a ton of time. I'm a big Flus guy. Like I think that he has overcome so much. I mean, rookie coach, head coach.
Yeah.
It was weak. So entering that Commanders game, I mean, when Sheffer says something that Flus was on the hot seat from Bears management, entering that Thursday night game, it was tough. Like I was like, this guy just. I mean, what happened weeks before with, Claypool, what happened with, the old DC, the stolen equipment at Soldier Field, Hallis Hall, everything going on. He handled it very well. And
so well.
With you guys in the locker room, from a coach handling it that well, does that make you guys play harder? Or, was he transparent with you guys? I know that's a double question, but what was that like during that really crazy time?
Yeah, me and my class, like me and Jalen Jones and Elijah Hicks and Kyle, we always talk about it. It's like we respect the hell out of Flus just because of in the face of everything that's been thrown at him as an individual, as a coach. Like he's never wavered, has never come into work any different than he has from day one. Like truthfully, like that is the God honest truth. Like he has never come in any different, even in the face of those rumors or whatever, right? Like of him having been on the hot seat, like came in every day like, all right, guys, this is what we're gonna do. This, and it was just like it just never, like he never got out of character ever, like never was yelling at, like it's just not in his nature. So we respect him. Like that's basically where all of this comes. Like we just respect him as a man, like as a coach. So.
And I'm sure you guys were pumped when he was coming back. Black Monday for head coaches after a losing season is a common thing, but I'm sure it sounds like you guys might have been pretty pumped that he was coming back.
Yeah, absolutely.
So thank you everyone for tuning in. We're at over 140 people right now, Josh. So thank you everyone for tuning in. We're just going through these questions. We're having a good time. Please like and subscribe to the channel. If you like the video, it helps shoot it out to more people, and also share it. Josh is doing this on his own time, guys. He's pumped. He's putting in work already for next season. But Josh, we got a couple comments for you to read. Number one defense up and coming this year. Yes or no? Do you
Absolutely.
agree?
Absolutely.
And, we got some bear downs,
Yes,
some
sir.
agreement with the Tyreek Stevenson comment. Should have made the all rookie team.
Man, no, absolutely. Like, actually got robbed.
I mean, I kind of felt this. I felt that way about TJ Edwards, by the way. Like, I
TJ,
just want to
yeah,
hit on
like,
that, man. That was crazy.
and when like, obviously Twitter is Twitter, right? Like, people are gonna say whatever they're gonna say, but like, I was seeing something like about a Bears curse, like, or about Bears tax or something like that. Like, the Bears have to do like crazy things to get the credit that they deserve. Like,
Yep.
crazy. Reek and
And
TJ especially, like, crazy.
do you think so? Coming from the offensive side of the ball, real quick, do you think Jenkins should have been to the Pro Bowl after everything he
Yes,
went through this year?
absolutely. Tev,
Yeah, that was my
absolutely.
big one. I was like, come on, are you kidding me? And DJ Moore too,
Oh,
1,300
and DJ,
yards.
yeah, that one. TJ, Reek, TJ, like, were my big three. Like how? Tev was another one. Like, absolutely. I
Oh
was just in the
man.
locker room with him yesterday.
Oh really? Was he there?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's awesome. That's good. That's good to hear. You guys are all still sticking together and putting in work because,
For sure.
yeah, he's local around here. I've seen him a couple times around the house hall before. But just a couple comments at you, Josh. From Dwayne Johnson. I think you were more confident this year. So I guess it's not just me that's seeing it, but you got a ton more coming up here too. Josh is a good player. Just takes time. You took a big step this year. Keep grinding. Man, a lot of people are pumped up for you, man. So.
Appreciate it.
People are pounding the table. Hopefully Poles is watching right now. We get some things going. We start hearing some things going on. But here's a good one that I didn't think we were going to get asked tonight. But this is from Chris. Who's the best rapper on the team?
Oh, I haven't really. Okay, all right. So we had the rookie talent show, right? Like every year.
Okay.
I think Reek did the best. I think he had the best performance out of everybody.
You're gonna
Don't
rob
sleep.
Bajan of it? That video was pretty lit.
Oh yeah. He did well too. He did. And then I would say I'll give it to my dog Jalen Jones.
Okay.
Jalen Jones, he can do his thing a little bit.
I feel like because when we had him on the show, I feel like Justin Jones can drop bars too every now and then.
Nah.
I'm
just messing. Justin's my dog, and I hope he sees this. That'd be funny. But maybe, I don't know. I won't give him that credit.
Maybe what we can do, Josh, is in a couple of weeks here, maybe after the draft, we can get Jalen on, we'll get Tyson on, we'll get a few other guys on, and we'll sit in the back and we'll judge, and they'll drop bars for everybody, and we'll have the comments going too.
That would be
what
good.
We got going. All right, let's see what else we got, Josh, for you. Oh, who's the biggest trash talker on the team?
Biggest trash talker, Brisk.
That was easy.
that was pretty easy, yeah. That's just Brisk, though.
What about Lucas Patrick? Is he more of the dad of the team?
Yeah.
Yeah. he's not talking smack.
Nah. Well, not that I've never seen him talk any kind of crazy way, nah. But being the dad of the team, absolutely. Absolutely.
So Brisker wins biggest trash talker. Tyreek's dropping bars with Bajent. They're going to drop an album.
Reek's too. Reek likes to talk too. Reek is one of them too, for sure.
His confidence definitely carried a lot higher as the season went on. Like, he was making those mistakes in the beginning like any rookie makes. But at the end, there's a picture. I have it saved somewhere because I'm going to do it in my highlight video for the season. It's him pointing, I think it was against the Falcons, and he was just jawing at somebody. And I was like, oh, okay, rookie's getting confident.
And we would watch it in the film room, and we would pause and be like, Reek, what'd you say right here? And he was like, I said it. And he would say what he said. It would be so funny. Like, we would just laugh at it because, like, it was every game it seemed like he was saying something crazy or in somebody's face. So
have you ever talked trash yet or not yet? You said you're more of the subtle guy.
I'm a quiet guy by nature. So, like, rarely. I'm kind of just a silent kind of a guy. I like to celebrate. I'll celebrate, but in terms of talking, nah.
So are you gonna for next season, when you either return one to the house after a fumble or you have an interception, do you have a celebration intact, ready to go?
So I wear 39, and the what I had planned this year, if I got a pick or a pick six or anything, was I was gonna take one of Eddie Jackson's old celebrations. That's what I was gonna do.
Oh,
Get a little
all right.
creative, but
I
I
got
don't
you.
know. I don't know. I guess when that moment happens,
Whatever flies in your head first.
whatever. Like last year at New York, I had nothing planned. It just happened. Whatever happened, happened. You know what I mean? So.
I got you. Well, Josh, you're getting some more love. Awesome job this past season from Rooming, keeping up the hard work. So I got you. Whoa. I don't know if this is legit. Okay. I don't know if this is legit, but we're going to throw it up on the screen. UPS, if you're sending your family a love packet, or consider UPS to take. Okay, that's fake. Sorry, Josh. My bad. that looked pretty legit, though. Okay. Wow, we got a ton of comments here. Oh, so here's a good one for you, Josh. We were going to talk about this tonight from David. What are the expectations for the defense, game in, game out? How did it change at all this past season, and what are you thinking for next year?
What's it called? Flukes likes to talk about like the hits principle, right? Like, and he has harped on that from the beginning. And I think his biggest one is the takeaways, right? Like that's a big thing. And I think at the beginning of the season, he put up the leaders of interceptions from every position, and he kind of set a stand. He was like from the history of the defense all the way back to Rondé Barber with Tampa Bay, like for nickels, like he has a standard for everybody. He was like, this is the standard for everybody. Peanut Tillman had the most with like 14 or something crazy one year, and so every year he put that up and was like, we need somebody in this room to beat this at your position, beat this at your position. So the goal is to have everybody beat the Robert Mathis in sacks, the Rondé Barber in picks, the Peanut Tillman in picks and force. Like that's the standard. So the goal is, the expectation is to exceed it, really, like to pass all those numbers, all those guys that are greats, future Hall of Famers, or if they're not already in the Hall of Fame. Like that's the expectation. That's the goal. So I think we've all kind of bought into that, and that's what we want and expect to do next season.
And so you're saying you do feel that push as men.
Oh yeah,
You feel that push.
yeah. Every day in the film room, we're like, we need to punch the ball. Like that's just the standard. So every day, coaches included, like are pushing it, harping it. Like this is how we win games. So
I know you're your biggest critic, so that's going to be your. But from an outsider looking in, who is very hard on themselves that fans need to know that they want to be better every week? Brisker? Oh, wow. What does he do?
Dude is like Brisk, and like I think this is why like people just love Brisk so much. Like Brisk wants to be the best in the world, like everybody does, but like Brisk is like, I'll do whatever I got to do to be the best. And he was like, if he has a mess up, he'll be like, that's on me. But like, he'll be the first one to call somebody out and be like, man, we got to like. He even today in the weight room, he was like, man, I need you to come train with me. Like, I need somebody to, or me and Kyler, we got to push each other to do this, and this, like, because we can't have this again, like this year. Like, he'll be the one to be the hardest on himself, on others, because he wants to win that badly. Like that's why like people appreciate Brisk. Like he's that boy for real. Like I got all the respect in the world for Brisk.
You don't hear that. Like you don't hear, because like some guys you think like, oh, they got a lot of money, like they don't care. Like it's good to hear it's the off season. It's been over a month since your last game, and he is still fired up about it.
Yeah.
So I'm with you, man. I'm a huge fan of him. I think he's going to do great things. I think your current DB room is so stacked, and just no one wants to appreciate that enough.
Yeah.
But next year, man, I'm telling you, it's going to be great. So your imagination saying that you need to get a 4-year contract. So, we got that pinned right now. We want you to be here for a minute, man.
I would love that.
We got James saying bear down. We got Plank saying bear down. Oh, man. Chris N saying that obviously the best rapper is Floose. I got that video of him celebrating with you guys in the locker room, and he kind of just like looked like the dad.
Yeah.
Especially when you guys had the camera before the season, when you had it for a minute.
Oh, is that in Indy? in the
Yeah, in
preseason.
Indy when you guys had the Polaroid
Yeah,
camera.
that was funny. That was funny. Yeah, I remember that.
Oh man, guys, keep bringing the comments in, keep bringing the questions in. I mean, we're just going through these right now. We're just having a good time with you guys. We got a couple FGBs going on right now. Man, get out of here, Troll Top Thompson. Get out of here, man. I don't know what's going on. There's always some Packer fan that fly into the group chat. But so here's one for you, Josh. Who is the hardest hitter on defense?
His nickname is Hitman. I'll give it to TJ Edwards.
Okay, Chicago native kid.
Yeah,
He's the hitman.
Hitman.
That's his nickname. So I didn't get that. I didn't ever hear his nickname, but so it sounds like he got it. But what does he just hit you with? Have you ever been hit by him? I assume not,
Nah.
but
Nah.
you're good
I
with
haven't been
that.
hit by him, but I'm sure it doesn't feel him or probably Tremaine. But like, I mean, his nickname is the Hitman from Fluce. So like, there you go, right?
Does Flus have a nickname for you?
Nah, I think he it's really like this like the starters that he has nicknames for. Like the teams guys, backup guys, like not as much. Not even
Got you.
really. Now that I think about it, I don't even think the offensive guys have. I think it's just the defensive starters have
Ooh, little favoritism there. I'm just kidding. Nah, he's just
them.
having a good time with him.
Don't bother me.
Here's one from our guy Foster, who is always business, not joking around. I know you said Brisker is, but is there anyone else? Is he truly that guy, or is there someone else that's more business than him?
I mean, Brisk is still Brisk. Like, he'll still cut up and laugh and stuff. But when it's time to lock in, it's time to lock in. Uh, uh, I'd probably say him. Like he really just is always like when it's time to lock in, he's locked in. I'll give it to Brisk.
I mean, so the hype videos that the social media team comes out with him, it just makes you want to run through a wall. You're just like, let's go.
Yeah, bro. He's yeah, for sure.
So here's a question for you, and I know that everyone in the group chat's going to know what I'm talking about. I want to see if it was brought up, but there was a Twitter battle between Brisker and an account. I'm not going to say his name,
Okay.
but it was about, I think it was week 13 or week 14. This account was calling out Brisker for missing tackles and doing that. And Brisker lit him up on Twitter. I'm talking like 5,000-6,000 likes, like no mercy. Was this brought up? Does Twitter get brought up in the locker room a lot or not too much?
Not really. Like we might have mentioned it to him but I didn't bring it up to him specifically. You kind of let him hash it out. You know what I'm saying himself? Because like Twitter is Twitter, right? People are gonna troll. People are gonna say whatever they're gonna say. Do whatever you gotta. Most times you gotta just tune it out, right? But that's just Brisk though. Like he's that passionate. Like if he says if you say something to him that he felt is a low blow, he'll say something back. Which that's just him.
No mercy, huh?
Nah,
Well,
not at all.
Here's something on a lighter note, maybe. Who is the funniest teammate this past season?
Elijah Hicks is a sleeper. 3-3. I'm biased because like I'm closest to the DBs, obviously. So like I'll give it to Elijah Hicks.
There you go. Okay, I'll take that. You know, I was not expecting that one, but you did mention when we talked last time, you mentioned Hicks, and then you also mentioned, I think it was Dominic Robinson. It was one of the defensive linemen that you said was also just always a super funny guy.
Oh, I said Mike P. That was last year though. He's not.
Oh, that anymore. Yeah, that's right.
No, Mike
that's right. That was last year.
Yeah.
So let's switch it back to a question that we got. I can't seem to find it because we got so many coming in right now. Who was your favorite win this past year?
My favorite win for me personally, because it's my first game back, was Carolina, and that was probably my favorite win, just because it was like I'm back playing again. It was a primetime game. It wasn't my best game. It was kind of an ugly game in all reality, but it wasn't my best game. But it was just like I'm back. I am being productive, and it just like a good win. It was like a good fresh air win for me as a player.
Yeah. I mean, though, also looking super crisp in the all orange uniforms.
Yeah,
Like,
and orange is my favorite color, so that made it even better.
well, it works out that you play for the Bears then.
Yeah,
So I'm
exactly,
happy. I'm
exactly.
happy that worked out in your favor.
Yeah.
We got another one going back to Tyreek real fast, Josh, and we're going to get into a few questions about the overall defense here in a second. But
Mm-hmm.
how confident is Tyreek? Like, is he like obviously it grew as the season went on, but truly, how confident is he?
Extremely. He came in that way, and I mean, you're gonna like as a rookie, as a player in general, like being a little nervous for games that's just what comes with it, right? Like, but he came in OTAs lining up against DJ Moore, like let's play ball, like, and that's something we talked about as year two guys. Like he came in like really confident, like he's making plays, like solid dude. So when he got comfortable playing, that only just what I'm saying, just skyrocketed from there. So he'll only get better, and I really think he'll be something to see in the next couple of years. I really do.
I mean, super impressive second half of the season. I mean, he
Yeah,
took off,
dude is
which
legit. He's legit and can
what
back
a
it up.
steal
So
too. What a steal in
absolutely.
the second round. Is there so Josh, is there anyone in the upcoming draft that you've kind of had your eyes on? Kind of like who would you want the Bears you think could be a great fit for the Bears this upcoming offseason?
Well, I think like the easy pick is like the Marvin Harrison, right? Like that's like what I see everywhere, and like watching college football, like dude is incredible. Watching his dad growing up, like incredible. So like that'd be pretty cool to see. I would love to see my guys from Duke. You know what I'm saying? I'm biased with that one, but I think the easy answer for me would be Marvin Harrison. That's just like the easiest, like off the dome pick to me.
So you're sticking with Fields and you're bringing in Marvin Harrison if we stick with the number one pick.
Yeah, but see, I'm not a
Hey,
GM though. I'm not a GM though, so I can't make the shots. But like,
we'll see what happens. How about
we'll
that?
see what happens, right?
So kind of let's talking about something that did happen this past year. You guys were 2-7 entering week 9. You
Yep.
ended the season 7-10.
Yep.
What was the biggest change that happened to you guys during that time?
I think we just finally like gelling together seamlessly, bringing Sweaty, and then like having it just like gel, like we clicked. And like we had OTAs in camp to kind of get it started, but it's like we're not going against anybody but ourselves, right? So like once we start getting it together in the season, that's kind of I think when it finally like we turn the page. And I honestly like I'm talking to you about it earlier in the season, like I could kind of feel the tide changing. Like we're losing, but it's different now. It's like it's not the same, and I didn't know how to explain it any other way. Then it just like it's gonna change. So I think the back end of that proved that. So yeah.
I mean, it's so crazy because you called it. Just so everyone knows, when Josh and I were texting, it was after the Raiders win, which, well, we were at the game. Josh, you unfortunately were dealing with that hamstring injury during that game. But I texted you. I'm like, all right, like same amount of wins as last year. And you called it. You're like, things are going to turn around. Bears ended 5-3. You go back and you look at the season. I mean, 11-6 could have been a real thing for you guys. And
100%.
there was a couple things that just killed you guys. Like I don't want to throw anything out there. It was out of your guys' control that really just killed a couple situations, but you guys overcame it. You're continuing to get better. And we're super happy about it. Now, what did this season mean to you, Josh? We kind of gone back and forth. Larry, it's Josh Blackwell, by the way, our defensive back. That's who's on. A couple people are logging in late, and they're like, sorry, I'm late to the party, Josh. So, everyone that's tuned in, we got defensive back Josh Blackwell on with us today. And Josh, a question for you that I've seen kind of pop up in the chat a few times, but also I wanted to ask you is, you were a special teams guru the last 2 years, significant improvements. What was the reason for your big jump this past year? What did you train differently? What kind of coaching helped? What was different?
I think what was different for me was just like I've been here before. Like I kind of know what I'm good at, what I'm not good at, um, what I can exploit. Um, you know, at Gunner, you it's kind of all just kind of reaction at the end of the day, right? Like I know I'm fast and I have to use my asset to the best of my ability if I can, right? So just kind of exploiting tendencies, watching film a little bit more, looking at more specific details, right? And then at the point of attack, kind of come into a little bit more of a composure and just making the play, right? Um, Sometimes I get a little bit too aggressive, like the play in Carolina that I was so sick about. But I mean, that's a learning experience, right? So yeah, just learning what is beneficial to my game and what is not. And like I said earlier, like I need to prioritize my body a lot more. Like just be honest. So making sure that I can run as fast as I can for a 20 game season and make it to the Super Bowl, right? So that's the plan, that's the goal, and I think that's how I got myself better and a little bit more, composed this season.
That's all. I mean, injuries are just sometimes totally out of your control,
Absolutely, absolutely.
and you handled it so well, man. Like, shout out to you. And our injury list was pretty darn long at one point this
Yeah,
season, and you guys still were doing a fantastic job. So you got a lot more love in the chat, by the way, Josh. I want to throw it up there. Laz, he says he wants to see you get more opportunity. So, we're all rooting for you, man. Like, shout out to Laz. We really appreciate that. We got another one, and this is from Chad, Bears fan of 50 years, and he thinks you're one hell of a player. So,
appreciate it.
The fan base loves you, man. And
Yeah.
everyone, thanks for tuning in. We got over 100 people in here right now. Keep throwing your questions in the comments. I got one from Joseph R right now. Which wide receiver in this league is the most feared in your opinion? And what are you and are most confident to, go against?
Ooh, like me individual who I've covered or just like in general?
Who you've covered? Who's been the toughest wide receiver?
Stephon Diggs last year I covered, but it was so cold. It was kind of like I don't think it was his best because it was just that cold. But and then my easiest cover because I didn't play a lot of defense this year because I was hurt. But I guess Randall Cobb. But I mean he's been in the league since I was a kid, so I mean I guess that's kind of not really fair to say. But I mean that was my easiest cover.
You calling out his age right there?
I mean, it's not a shot at his. That's just the truth,
I'm
right?
kidding,
Like,
man. I'm kidding.
right?
I'm
Like,
kidding.
it is what it is. But I think from an objective point of view, I would say the toughest cover bias. DJ Moore is definitely one of them. His body control is crazy. Um, uh, yeah.
So okay, and it's good that you have that teammate that helps make you better in DJ Moore.
And to be honest, because I'm at nickel. I've never covered DJ. I've never covered it.
Oh, really? So you haven't had that experience yet?
Nope.
Don't really want to. It sounds like either.
I mean, it would definitely make me better for sure, 100%. But I never got to cover.
What
He's always on the
is
outside.
DJ? What is he like as a teammate?
Super quiet. He's a jokester. I know he jokes around with the receivers, but like he doesn't really say a lot to like in general. Like I don't really hear him talk a lot. He always wearing the do-rag on the field, off the field. He has like a even in meetings like when he'll get asked a question, he has like a very childlike personality, like a fun kid personality, but like doesn't say a whole lot.
Hey, I mean his game speaks for that. That's for
It
sure,
speaks,
man.
yeah, it speaks enough for itself, right? He's just a big kid from what I can see.
That's
Just
great.
having fun. Yeah.
That's the personality you need during the tough times too. And
Absolutely.
we got a couple people saying hello to you right now, Josh. Ron's messing with me right now. He's one of our regular viewers.
Oh,
He says I'm not doing a mock draft because I do mock drafts all the time, but he says
yeah.
what's up. So guys, if so here's one more. guys, we got a couple more minutes here with Josh. Thanks, Josh, again for your time, man. I can't appreciate it enough. We got a couple more questions coming in if you don't mind answering them.
Mm-hmm.
But you kind of hit on this earlier, but maybe if we could break it down a little bit more. You're in on keeping Fields. Are you taking Marvin Harrison Jr. with the pick, or is there a sleeper pick that you think people are not thinking about enough?
Sleeper pick.
You're not a GM, we know.
Right. I like the receiver class this year. I do. Like Malik Neighbors, LSU, got the Odunze kid from Washington. Like there's a lot of pieces that we could use, and that would be really beneficial for us. So, but I do think the star of them all is Marvin Harrison. So if that's the question, yeah, I won't see why not. Yeah, I would grab him, Marvin.
Oh, we got a couple really good comments coming in here right now. I know we only got a couple minutes, but I want to make sure that you get to them because I do want to hear your opinion on it. Do you think Bajan could be a starter in this league someday?
I do. He's another one of those guys who you talk about his confidence. Like, bro's confidence is crazy. He has like this like swag about him that's just kind of like, like I'm meant to be here. I can handle. I do think he can be a starter in the league one day. Absolutely. He has a very positive, confident aura about him and everything that he does. It's pretty cool to see.
I mean, he came in and did a pretty darn good job, in my opinion. I mean, 2-2, it is not ideal, obviously, but I mean, 500. You'll take 500 any day of the week and twice on Sunday. But overall, I thought he did a good job. I think the Bears are in a great position from a 1-2 punch. Like if something happens to Fields, he can get it done. I got one for you, Josh. I know you're gonna like this one. This is from my man Doobsy34. Mike Vick or Justin Fields one on your backyard team?
Okay, that's tough. That's tough. I'm gonna say, that's a good question.
That's a really good question. I know how you feel about both of them.
Yeah, that's tough. I'll say since I know Justin on a personal level, I would take Vic because I came to a camp one year at the Falcons camp and got an autograph, but I would love to just like kick it with Vic for a little bit. That'd be pretty cool.
You got to talk to the PR person and see if you can get in contact with him because clearly he was dope. I'm telling you, man. Dude, okay. So, Josh, how much longer we got you for? Like 5-10 minutes?
I'm cool. I'm just chilling.
All right. We got some really good questions here. From Jeff Page, are you guys winning the division next year?
Yes.
Done deal. Well, done deal. That was an easy one. Thanks, Jeff, for putting it in there. Any players from Duke that we should keep an eye on for this upcoming draft?
So, I got a teammate. His name is Dwayne Carter. He just went crazy at the Senior Bowl. Nose tackle or defensive tackle. I'm not really a nose. He's solid, bro. I think he's the biggest prospect right now. So yeah, keep an eye. I think he'll go day 2. Day 3 for sure. Yeah.
We got a couple of those picks, so
I think it'd be pretty cool to have another Duke guy. We got Lucas, but Lucas was before me, so and there's not many of us Duke guys in the league, so that'd be pretty cool to see.
I mean, I'd be in for it. Here's a question for you that, okay, let's say that Fields isn't the quarterback next year. I am a Fields stan channel. Everyone watching knows how annoying I am about it, but I think he's the guy.
Yeah.
From a rivalry perspective, let's say the Bears trade back and they take Drake May from UNC. What are you doing? Like, I mean, are you going to give him a hard time for a little bit, or what's going on?
Not at all. I mean, that'd be a fun little back and forth stuff in the locker room, but now we're teammates, so we can put all that aside and let's just go win some games. But I think it'll be fun. Like me and Justin Jones and Trenton Gill, because I went to State, like we cut up all the time because like Duke's better than State, and Duke beat State this year, so I had bragging rights, so it was pretty cool. But I think other than that, it would be we're teammates, so I wouldn't trip.
Just some guys being dudes, right?
Just some guys being dudes, absolutely.
So, Josh, we got a couple more questions coming in here. Guys, keep throwing them in there. One thing I want to ask you from a player's perspective is, when the season ended, obviously it was a heartbreaker in Green Bay.
Yep.
What was the first thing? What is kind of, I know there was the exit interviews, if you can high level touch on that. How were the exit interviews? Were you able to voice yourself? Like, was it a cool process? Like, how did you feel?
Yeah, I really appreciate how Flus kind of goes about it. So yeah, we meet with everybody from your nutritionist all the way up to polls. Like one by one, you meet with your position coach, your obviously the team's coach, head coach, GM, and you kind of talk about like where you're gonna train this off season. Well, first we'll break it down with like your season as a whole, from like camp all the way up to that point. And it's like you had a good camp. Um, Wish you had stayed a little bit more healthy throughout the season. You made the most of your opportunities, kind of a thing. We appreciate the heck out of you, and we'll see you next time, kind of a deal. And then you go chop it up with head coach, and you'll get to pick. You'll get to ask him questions. How can we improve? How can we do this? How do you feel like we handled X, Y, Z? You kind of express yourself that way. Then it's kind of like then you meet with polls, and it's kind of the same thing. Like how can we be better as an organization? How can we the cafeteria, the strength staff, like what can be better. So I think they do a really good job of getting the players' feedback, and then making the changes that need to be made in the offseason. So yeah.
That's because in recent past, they've never announced exit interviews at Hallis Hall. So it sounds like it's a newer thing with the culture.
Oh, interesting. We had them last week too. So
real. So it sounds like, like overall from the culture that you're like, it sounds like Poles and Flus are just putting together this awesome culture that guys want to come and play at.
It's incredible, bro. Like it's not like you feel like you have a relationship with each one of them on a personal level, and it's not like a boss kind of a employee relationship. It's not that. Like it's like a real personable relationship.
That's awesome. And you guys are all people at the end of the day.
All people, right?
So, and speaking of that, Larry had a really good question. And I know we kind of talked about it earlier, but we have a ton more people joining. Thanks everyone for tuning in this episode of Just Another Year. I'm with Josh Blackwell, Bears defensive back. And we got a question from Larry right now. What is the biggest misconception of Coach Flus?
I don't know. Like, I think he gets a lot of flack for not calling the right defensive plays, which is not
Donnie
fair to
said because
say.
he can't rap.
I like that one, Donnie. Let's go with that. No, like Flus is like he is a good person, a good man, and is a genius. Like he really is a football genius. I respect the hell out of his brain, like how it operates. I think people think that he can't be a head coach. He's a phenomenal head coach. Like I really do think so. And then like him being able to take the reins on defense so abruptly and like kind of do it seamlessly was a testament to just how he operates, right? Like he really is just a great head coach. So I guess like people think he can't coach. I would disagree. I would disagree there. He can't lead. I would disagree.
That's awesome. Like again, a lot of people were a little wishy-washy with Flus this year because of how things were going, but he turned it around and every player talks so highly of him. So it's good to hear that you guys are behind him. So thanks for that question, Larry. I really appreciate it. All right, I got 3 more questions for you, Josh.
Bet.
Let's start with this one. What was your favorite drill during practice to keep you sharp?
So my nickel coach, David Overstreet, we would do drills because we're a nickel. We're essentially like an extension of the linebackers. We're a DB, but like we're a linebacker per se. So we'd have like these like fit drills, right? And he would like run up with like a ball and would like essentially like try to juke us with the ball, and he would throw it in a direction, and we have to like go like tag off on it like we're making a tackle. And he would always make it like a fun thing. And he's a jokester, like he's a jokester, like he really is. So he would be intentionally trying to like juke us out with the ball, but making it a drill that, equates to real life play, right? And all of these drills are really fun, but I think that one is one that just was easy to mind. It came to mind quickly. So, yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, hey, at least like, because we don't know what you guys, I mean, we see it during OTAs and we see it during minicamp,
Yeah.
but we don't understand some of those drills. I mean, I haven't played football in 12 years, so it's been a minute. All I remember was the Oklahoma drill, but that was about it.
No, we don't do Oklahoma no more.
Just imagine. Well, here's a question for me. What if Brisker called you out to do Oklahoma? Would you do it, or would you just be like,
Brisk would absolutely do that, and Brisk would do that just to see what people would say. Like, he says it all the time. He was like, he would come in the meeting room and be like, "You think you could tackle me one-on-one?" Like, just outright. Like, what do you mean? Do you think I could tackle you? Like, absolutely. And he'd be like, "You can't tackle me." Like, that's just the kind of person that he is. So he would absolutely say that, and I would absolutely do it with him just to show him that I'm not afraid to hit him. Like, that's just Brisk, though.
That's love right there. It's all love, right?
All love. But that's just the competitor in both of us. Like, he does it all the time.
I mean, that's good. And talking about Brisker, I mean, like, it sounds like you like that type of person that just plays with all of his heart, just goes as hard as possible. Jeff Page had another really good question. Out of everyone in the league, including free agency, I know you kind of hit on college a little bit. Who is someone that you would like to play with on defense?
A name that came up, I guess, a couple of weeks ago was I saw Max Crosby potentially or something like that. Was it you that did that?
I did that. A lot of guys did that, but I was one of the channels that did it too.
Okay, I saw that. I'm like, that would be pretty interesting. Like, imagine that, like Crosby, Sweaty, and you got D-Walk behind. Like, that would be insane. So that would be pretty cool to see. That'd be pretty cool to see.
Mad. Well, so you guys play. I know you were hurt during that game, but Darnell Wright with one arm was able to defend against Crosby, man.
And he played damn near flawless, isn't it? Like, he was like, Did he give up a sack? I don't think he gave up a sack.
He did give up half a sack, technically.
Half a sack, okay, but like still, Max Crosby, like against the rookie, that's incredible.
I mean, it was. I was at that game. I was texting you. I know you don't have your phone on the sideline, but I'm like, dude, like, this guy's crazy. But Max Crosby is a super special player, and some of the mocks, including my own, one of them was I would take this year's first, swap it with Las Vegas, get Max Crosby, get their second, get a fourth, a next year first again, a second, like a complete haul.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, like, look what we got last year for the Carolina pick.
I was going to say, like, literally a whole, like, that was a fleece if I ever seen one. Complete. Yeah. Like,
and they're saying it won't happen again. Like, it's pretty different this year. It's even better. Yeah. So, one more thing for you, Josh. Yeah. And thanks everyone for tuning in. Please hit that like button and subscribe to the video. We really appreciate the support. Does Flus ever ask you what you would have called on a play while you guys are reviewing? Like, is there anything, like, does he take your guys' feedback in a lot?
Yeah. So I'll say two things. So in our defensive meeting room, yeah, he'll make a call and the guys will make the adjustments, whatever. And then somebody will ask a question like, why are we doing this? And he'll give an explanation as to why he's doing it, the way he's thinking. And then he'd be like, what do you think? And he was like, and then he would like open up the floor to allow guys to be like, well, I'm thinking this is this. And he would rebuttal with, and it would be like, okay, it was a healthy conversation onto why we're doing what we're doing and why he called what he called, etc. On the other hand, in our corners room, Hoke will literally give one of the players the call sheet. And he'd be like, all right, we're going to do a drive. I want you to call it. Call it. So 3-3 will get up there and he'll call whatever. We'll make the adjustments and it'll be like, okay, kind of a deal. So I think it's a really healthy way that we go about doing it. And this also helps like young guys learn, right? Like, why are we calling this here? Because XYZ. Okay. What would you have done? I would have done this. Well, you can't do that because XYZ. So stuff like that. So yeah.
That's pretty, like, I didn't know that. That's a great question by Joseph R. Like, I didn't know. That's cool that the coaches let you guys kind of call some stuff out and they'll kind of educate you on their reasoning, but also it kind of seems like they take that feedback in, like maybe they'll try something else.
Yeah, like it is, and it never in a condescending way. Like it's always like well, here's why I would do this kind of thing. Like, it was never in a, you know what I mean? Like it's always very positive dialogue. So
that's awesome, man. I'm happy to hear that the culture allows you guys to be yourselves, give feedback, and move forward. But Josh, we're gonna close out here in a second, and I can't believe the amount of people that came in. Thank you guys so much. My last question to you for the night is, in the perfect world, if you guys would have made the playoffs this year, like you guys were close entering week 17, you guys had it.
Yeah.
Let's say you guys would have been in the playoffs this year. Your first game would have been that what the Green Bay Packers played. So I believe the Packers played the Niners. Is that right? Was it the Niners? No, against the Cowboys. Against the Cowboys.
It was the Cowboys. They beat the Cowboys, right? Yeah.
So if you guys would have walked into Dallas, how confident were you guys? Would you guys have been entering that game?
Just because we were on a roll, I didn't think we could. I wouldn't have thought we could have been stopped by Dallas at that time.
Yeah, I mean, so. Anyone was saying you guys were too scary.
Yeah, because we were on a roll. Like we were hot, we were clicking. Like everything was just like, you know what I mean. So yeah, I think we would have won that game.
And who knows? You guys probably would be where the Niners are right now. I mean, I really think you guys had a special roster, man.
We literally talked about it. Like we beat Detroit twice. Like, yes, we fumbled a game, but like we really beat Detroit twice, and they made it all the way to the NFC. And to why I said it's like we should be here. You know what I mean? Like we should absolutely be here. So it's frustrating for sure, but I mean that's just motivation for next year, right?
I mean, you're already putting in work right now, it sounds like. Is that right?
Yeah, I've been trying to get back in the weight room. I've been in the weight room the last 2 weeks, so getting back to it.
I mean, season's not too far away if you think about it, man.
It's not.
6 months flies by pretty quick in this world.
It does.
Man. Well, Josh, stay on for a second after we're done with the stream. But I just want to say thanks for coming on, man. We had over 140 people live streaming in at one point. I don't even know what the numbers are for overall, but a ton of people are saying thanks for taking the time and answering questions. Chris is saying it. Donnie's saying it. Trey, we're going to probably get some more here in a second. It probably just hasn't loaded, but this was so much fun, man. And I can't thank you enough for joining our first Chicago Bears live talk, sharing the experiences. Like we're all wanting you to come back. So, as always, thanks for joining, man. Really appreciate it.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you guys having me.
Absolutely. And we'll see you next season. We all know that's going to happen, man.
Yes, sir. We're willing. Yes, sir.
We know it. We know it. Just make us a deal. Just don't go to Green Bay depending on what happens. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
Well, how about this? One last question for everybody, because it seems like everyone's still staying in. A lot of people are saying thank you. Josh, what would it mean to play Green Bay again week 1 this upcoming season, and how much different would it be?
I think the whole team, the whole state would appreciate it. Like we have to get our get back on Green Bay to lose them twice in a year that we shouldn't have lost. Either one of them is obviously super frustrating, right? So yeah, we need that, and we need to show everybody that like it's not going to happen no more. That's what's supposed to happen is a Bears win. So yeah, I would appreciate it. Right. I think everybody would appreciate that.
Well, everyone's saying thanks, Josh. And, you guys can go find him on Twitter. I tagged him in the latest tweet for this live stream. Also, make sure you go follow his Instagram and stay up to date with us. But Josh, thanks for coming on, man. I really appreciate it.
Appreciate you, Nick. Yes, sir.
Absolutely. And thank you guys for tuning in this episode of Just Another Year Chicago. Come back next Tuesday night as we have another special guest coming on. So stay tuned for that. But as always, thank you for tuning in, and bear down, baby.